Day found. What's happening? All right. So I think it was two fairly good Monday Night Football games. They were fair enough. All right. What's good, All Day found? Thank you all so much for joining. I think both games was pretty good tonight. The Bills and the Falcons was pretty entertaining, and so was the Chicago Bears and the Commanders. So I said that the Bills was going to beat the Falcons, started at 25. The Bills, they played bad, but the Falcons. I think it was more about the Falcons' defense than it was about the Bills. Now, Josh Allen, he didn't perform well tonight at all. I wasn't. See, this is what I'm saying about how we tend to overrate some of these quarterbacks because we like them so much. I said this time and time again. If you keep Josh Allen in the box, and force him to throw, he's not going to always perform well because Josh Allen isn't a passing type of quarterback. He is a running first quarterback. Josh Allen, he's always looked to me as, just like I said, he's like a fullback that can throw or a running back that can throw. He's not a bad passer, but he's not an. I never really thought of Josh Allen as being an elite passer. I'm not. That's not me saying that I don't think he's not an elite quarterback because his running game has a lot to do with his game. But if you are going to say that he's like top two, right behind Patrick Mahomes, or he's top three, right behind Lamar Jackson, that's where you kind of lose me. I don't think Josh Allen is a top three quarterback, and I never did. Because there's quarterbacks in the league that I would draft, that I wouldn't say I would draft over Josh Allen, but that I think there are better passers than Josh Allen. I think Lamar Jackson's a better passer than Josh Allen. I think Patrick Mahomes is a better passer than Josh Allen. I know Justin Herbert's a better passer than Josh Allen. I think Matthew Stafford is a better passer than Josh Allen. I think those guys can pass the ball better than Josh Allen. And I know I'm missing some other quarterbacks. I can't think of any right now. But like I said, he's a good player. I think Joe Burrow is a better passer than Josh Allen. You know, Josh Allen, he's a good player. He's a good quarterback, but he's not. If more teams were to capitalize on stopping Josh Allen from running the ball, Josh Allen would look like a very average quarterback. I'm just going to be honest with you all. He will be a very average quarterback. If more teams were to do what the Falcons did to Josh Allen tonight. He made some costly mistakes. He missed some throws. His biggest plays were runs. I think he had one big bomb down the field to Josh Palmer, and I think he had another one. So, like I said, yeah, I mean he has an arm, but I don't think his passing skills is amongst the league in the league. If anyone disagrees with me, please prove to me that. I want you to prove to me that a game where Josh Allen was forced to pass the ball in the pocket, and they took away his running game, and he couldn't, and he still prevailed. All the games I see Josh Allen play, look, I'm not really trying to take anything from him. If you can run the ball, if you're a mobile quarterback, you're a mobile quarterback. I mean, most quarterbacks nowadays, and for the last decade, probably have a big part of the game has been running. But if we're going to say, I'm not going to do, and what I'm not going to allow, is people to just automatically put Josh Allen over quarterbacks that actually are better passers than him. I can't do that. And because he's so electrifying and he's so elite at running the ball, he's probably the greatest quarterback of all time that can run and pass. Now, I will say that. But again, if you take his running away from him, because like I said, that's what I'm saying. He's the best. He's probably the greatest quarterback of all time, other than Cam Newton, probably, that could run and pass. If you take his running game away from him, because that's what I'm saying. Like his wheels is a huge part of his game. If you take that away from Josh Allen, he is average at best, pure average. And And that's that. And this league is a copycat league. If more teams pick up on how the Falcons contained him, Josh Allen threw for under 200 yards this game, and his pocket wasn't. They didn't like. He wasn't. I don't think he was sacked that much. His pocket didn't just break down. He wasn't getting smashed like Justin Herbert has been getting smashed. See, that's what I'm saying. That's why I keep telling you all Justin Herbert is a much better quarterback than Josh Allen. Justin Herbert has been dealing with a terrible offensive line, and you all see how Justin Herbert, if he just has just an inch of time to throw, he is going to pick the defense apart. He doesn't have to run. And Justin Herbert actually is trying to add more running to his game this year. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I'm saying Justin Herbert is a much better. I think Justin Herbert's the best quarterback in the league. Period. And he's going to show that more and more in time. But not only Justin Herbert, a lot of his interceptions came from tip balls and elite defensive play. Josh Allen, he will make mistakes by trying to force the ball in coverage like he did tonight. He like the mistake he did one pass, I think it was like on first down or something, and he tried forcing the ball and the defensive back caught the interception. And there was another one where he tried to force the ball. I think it was in the goal line. It was a costly interception. Both of those interceptions was costly mistakes by Josh Allen. And why? Because he's being forced to pass the ball in the pocket. I see this time and time again with Josh Allen. Over and over and over again. I cannot put him over quarterbacks that can stay in the box, can stay in the pocket, and can still pick you apart. I can't put him over those quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes, yes, he's an extremely mobile quarterback. Patrick Mahomes, he extends plays. He gets out of the pocket a lot. But if you keep Patrick Mahomes in the pocket, he can pick you apart in the pocket. Same for Justin Herbert. Same for Joe Burrow, obviously. Same for Matthew Stafford. You know what I'm saying? Well, obviously Matthew Stafford. So I can't do that. Even with Lamar Jackson, I've seen Lamar Jackson pick defenses apart being forced to stay in the pocket. That's why I never really that's why I never thought that Josh Allen was a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson. I even said in my previous videos, I was like, I think Lamar Jackson is a better quarterback than Josh Allen. If I was a GM and I saw Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, I would choose Lamar Jackson over Josh. I would. So that's that. But hey, man, it was a bad night for Josh Allen. Let's see if he'll bounce back next week. I don't know who the Bills' opponents are, but let's see. Let me see who's the Bills play next week. If they're playing next week. Let's see. I don't think I think the Bills are on a bye. Let me find out. Let me see. Let's see. Who are the Bills' next opponent? So they have. Ooh. They got the Panthers. That's going to be interesting. They got the Carolina Panthers, man. The Panthers is not a team to overlook. And then they got the Chiefs. And then they got the Dolphins. That should be an easy W. And then they got the Buccaneers. We're going to find out. We're going to find out what the Bills is made out of. And what about the Commanders? You know, I was really impressed with the Commanders. I was wrong about the Bills winning this game. I thought, I didn't take the Falcons defense into consideration. I forgot how good Raheem Morris can call a defensive game. And the Falcons were in the dome. I should have thought a little bit better on that, because if I would have considered that, if I would have considered the Falcons were playing at home, and I would have considered their defense, I would have actually picked the Falcons to win this game. But I wasn't thinking. That's why I really wasn't surprised that the Falcons won this game at all. I really wasn't. So I was more surprised that Josh Allen. No, I wasn't even surprised by that. I wasn't even surprised that Josh Allen didn't even play a good game, because I've always thought that if you take away his legs, he's a very average passer, and he shows it all the time. And not only does he becomes an average passer, he shows that he makes mistakes. Like, he has a bad habit of forcing the ball in tight coverage and making costly mistakes, turning the ball over. He's had that issue time and time again throughout his career. So, the Bills, they kind of cleaned it up a little bit, because they put elite offensive line around him. Joe Brady started calling plays that was more centered around his skill set, which is what they should do. I would do the exact same thing. And when you do that, when you call the game and build the team around the skill set of your quarterback is going to look elite, as he should. And here, I'm not, and listen, the quarterbacks that I will put over Josh Allen are Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and maybe Matthew Stafford, maybe Joe Burrow. I don't know. I think it's a toss-up with those three. Because, like I said, you can't ignore how electrifying Josh Allen's legs are. You just can't ignore that. But with Joe Burrow too, I just haven't seen Joe. The thing that gets me with Joe Burrow is that I just haven't seen Joe Burrow without elite weapons at all. So I don't know what Joe Burrow will look like minus Chase, Higgins. I don't know what he'll look like minus those guys. I know what Matthew Stafford is. But I'm talking about Josh Allen. Have always with costly turnovers. Matthew Stafford always, throughout his entire career, he's always had costly turnovers. So I would probably pick Josh Allen over Matthew Stafford, even though I know Matthew Stafford's a better passer than Josh Allen. But I feel like I could. Well, I can't really say that, because Matthew Stafford did win a Super Bowl. So, but it took Matthew Stafford like over 10 years to win one. Josh Allen hasn't even been elite for 10 years. So I feel like I can't say that. So I feel like I can probably win more with Josh Allen. But yeah, I don't know. What about the Commanders and the Bears? So I said that the Bears was going to beat the Commanders 27-24. I was almost spot on with this. The Commanders beat the Bears. The Bears beat the Commanders 25-24. So, man, I was spot on what the Commanders was going to score. I was 2 points off with the Bears. I said 27. Down. Almost had it. And I did have a prediction before, but I chose to change it. I said at first I had the Bears was going to lose to the Commanders 25-28. So, ironically, I picked right on how many points this Bears was going to win. But I was 3 points off by how many points the Commanders was going to put up. Well, 4 points off. But then I changed it and I said, okay, I said this last night. I was like, no, on my video that I posted previously before the game, I said that I went back and I was like, no, the Bears is going to win this game 27-24. So, yeah, there was a lot of mistakes for the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears almost handed this game away to the Commanders. And there was a time in this game that I thought that the Bears was just going to lose, because they were kind of, there was a lot of self-inflicted wounds, and they were kind of just giving the game to the Commanders on a silver platter. The Bears had control of this game pretty much throughout the entire game, and then the Commanders did come back, and it was looking like the Commanders was going to close it, and they actually were, but there was another costly mistake by the Commanders, and maybe it was I don't want to put it all on Jaden Daniels, but the ball was in Jaden Daniels' hands, and the ball was not handed off properly, and it was a fumble. So it was Jaden Daniels' fault. I thought Jaden Daniels had a pretty solid game. He did make some costly mistakes though, and those costly mistakes cost the Commanders losing those games. So he had 2 turnovers that were very costly. I don't think the Bears had any turnovers, which was awesome. And yeah, like I told you all, like before this started the season, I told you all, I said I think this is going to be a struggling year for Jaden Daniels. And so far, it really actually has. He has been struggling. He has not had the year at by any means what he had last year. I just this based on his playing style, I just knew the league was just going to catch up with him, and he probably was going to take a step back. So that happens, and he might get better next year. And the thing about I love about Caleb Williams is that I think Caleb Williams is actually getting better. Slowly, very, very slowly. His passing is getting better. He still has been missing some throws, but he doesn't turn the ball over, and when he does connect, he makes plays passing the ball. And he hasn't been running a lot lately. He's been more of a pocket passer, and I think when he gets really good at that, and then he starts back wisely figuring out how he can integrate his running with his passing ability of what's that? Ben Johnson. I was about to say Joe Johnson. Of what Ben Johnson is training him, coaching him. Caleb Williams is going to be a very, very dangerous quarterback when Caleb Williams really starts to gel into Ben Johnson's and get more comfortable and get a deeper understanding of Ben Johnson's playbook. And then you'll have the ability to freestyle, to manipulate certain plays in the pocket and stuff, because now he mastered Ben Johnson's coaching style and play calling playbook. Caleb Williams is going to be a dangerous quarterback. He's going to be a top 5, top 3 quarterback for years to come when he gets that down. I see it. I really do. There was some mistakes with the Bears, there were, but they came back and they came through and they won. And I think Ben Johnson is doing a pretty good job coaching the Bears. I actually do think he is. So yeah, that's that. And that's all I really have for you all tonight, man. So pretty good game, solid games tonight. I was expecting the Falcons. The Falcons and the Bills could have been a lot better, but pretty good games for the most part. So yeah, that's all I have, and we'll be back very soon. Thank you all so much. I will have another video for you all tomorrow. Thank you all so much for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe. We're going to be back soon, all day. And I'm also considering doing streaming, like live streaming. I'm considering it, highly considering doing that. I think live streaming can bring in, can touch a whole different type of audience and stuff. So that's something that's been on my mind. You guys let me know what you think about that, if I should do live streaming. So yeah. All right. Deuces.